My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer right over there with a special guest on the hotline.
He will be starting in the 108th Indianapolis 500. He's a damn fine American. He's a great Hoosier. Conor Daly joins us. Conor, what's up, brother?
Oh, not too much, guys. How we doing?
Man, we're doing well. We're doing well.
I love that he said not too much. Indy 500s in a couple days.
Right. We're hoping we get a chance to watch you race on Sunday. I don't know how the forecast is going to cooperate here, but how you feeling heading into this weekend?
Well, I saw a stat earlier today on the internet, which everything on the internet is correct, but 90% chance of rain for the 2019 Indy 500, and it didn't rain at all. So I do have faith. We obviously know our Indiana weather is a bit psychotic. So who knows? But we're feeling good, man. The polka dot Chevrolet looks great, feels good, is fast. We definitely know it's a competitive car, and I've been enjoying every day on track, every session, every lap.
The number 24 Dreyer and Reinbold Racing Cusack Motorsports polka dot entry is Conor Daly. What is polka dot?
So polka dot is essentially it's kind of like the Swiss Army knife for the future of the internet, like Web3. Polka dot is a network of essentially creative builders that can kind of construct the future of the internet, essentially. And dot is a token. Any token holder can vote on whether or not they want to see the treasury funds of the Polka Dot Network spent on certain things. This obviously being one of them. So we got a resounding yes vote on whether or not people wanted to see this happen. So it's pretty cool. It's very unique, very high level, very high technology. But we're in the future already. Some people don't like to acknowledge that we're going towards the future, but we certainly are here.
Chatting with Conor Daly, part of the Indianapolis 500 this weekend, a race you can hear right here at 93 WIBC. Conor, you still dig it? Do you still get the butterflies? Do you still get the sweaty palms on race day? Like, take us through what it's like, what's in your mind when you get to the Speedway on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, it's the greatest thing ever. It never gets old. It's the coolest feeling ever, just being here, right now. I don't want these days to go by fast. I want to enjoy every moment. I mean, this, be representing for the city, the state, being an Indiana guy at this event is, it's really special. So hearing the crowd's reactions, hearing everyone, when I see clips after the race, I obviously can't hear them when I'm in the car, but it's pretty cool to be a part of this every year, and it never gets old. And I always tell people, if you haven't gone, you're really, really missing out.
Hey, Conor, Nigel here. I just want to pivot real quick. Of course, we'll circle back to the Indy 500. I do find it fascinating that you're just one of a few drivers in the history of the sport to have raced in NASCAR's Daytona 500 and the Indy 500 within the same year. And my question is, are there just an infinite number of differences between driving a NASCAR and an IndyCar, or are there more similarities than people might think?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's definitely quite different. My situation, I would say, is not quite as comparable as like Kyle Larson's situation, because Kyle Larson is with one of the best teams in the NASCAR Cup Series, obviously NASCAR Cup Series champion, and also with one of the best teams in IndyCar. Whereas, my NASCAR experience is very short-lived and with a small operation. So, I think Daytona, when you're driving by yourself, it's pretty simple. It's not really, there's not a ton going on. Whereas like here by yourself, there's always something going on. It's always a challenge. Physically, it's tough. Mentally, it's tough. You're always trying to be a little bit quicker. So there's definitely some differences. But at the end of the day, there are several drivers over there in the Cup Series that I for sure would love to see run the double, and it would be cool to see more people like Kyle Larson come over and do it.
I'll be there on Sunday. I go to the race every year, Conor. It's a tradition. I've been doing that since I was a kid, and I think what's kind of becoming a tradition for you, correct me if I'm wrong, is you make a cameo appearance in the snake pit at some point. So my question to you, Conor, is, am I way too old to be anywhere near the snake pit? I'm 46 years old. If I get anywhere near the snake pit, will they think I'm some sort of fed?
I don't think so. I think everything is possible. I don't think there's going to be any type of mostly because those folks might not even know what's going on in general. So I think you're safe. But man, it's a great experience. I love the fact. One of my favorite things to see on race day is honestly because I get to interact with some of the DJs, some of the artists that are playing, and they just truly cannot believe what they are witnessing at 9 a.m. Like it's something that for me is one of the most enjoyable things as a fan. I'm like, yeah. Welcome to the freaking show, guys! Like this is our event. So it's really cool to see that, and it's my tradition. I try to get as many of them to sign my helmet before the race as possible because I have all the Snake Pit artists on the back of my helmet for each race each year. So it's cool, man. I'm going to be over there yet again from like 9:50 to 10:15 a.m. So that's my window.
Is there ever going to be a cutoff age, right? Like, because I've always said, I think there's a cutoff age for dudes where you're too old maybe to be in Broad Ripple, too old to maybe wear your hat on backwards.
Never.
You don't want to be like the Steve Buscemi meme where he's holding the skateboard, right?
Never.
Hello, my fellow kids. That would be me if I were over there. What about you?
I think it's only weird if you make it weird, so I don't know.
I love it.
Love it. You were part of that celebrity basketball game when the All-Star game came here to Indy. How did that go?
Well, they didn't give me enough minutes. Shannon Sharp didn't have faith in my Indiana roots.
Right.
Kind of a shame. 2 assists, 1 rebound, no big deal. Only a minute and a half. That's fine. I was in the paint. I feel like when you look at me and you look at Micah Parsons, you're like, I think I know which guy I'm going to play on the starting lineup. So that's probably why. But what an amazing weekend in Indianapolis. I thought we did such a great job hosting that, and it was truly a unique experience that I'll never forget, even though I wish I could have, took a couple more shots. I did a lot of practice to get ready.
Right. Conor Daly with us. Again, he's driving the number 24 Dreyer Reinbolt Racing Cusack Motorsports Polka Dot Machine in the 108th running of the Indy 500. So tell us about this year's race, man. What's going through your mind?
Well, I think honestly, it's going to be an interesting one. I think the field is very jumbled. You've got some people who got to go out early in the qualifying line that took advantage of really good conditions that are probably not as experienced and not maybe as good in race trim, but they were able to take advantage of conditions. So the field is a bit jumbled. You got an Indy 500 champion 2 years ago, starting in the last row. You've got you've got a couple different people just all over the map. So it's going to be interesting. Penske is, they are really good. So they have a whole mile an hour on the entire field, which hasn't been, we haven't seen that in a long time. So they're going to be the ones to beat, all three of them, and everyone else has to do an incredible job perfecting their day and hope that they run into some issues. So we'll see what happens. I know we're gonna get up front and we're gonna try to get to the lead and stay there. But I think you're in for an interesting one. It's a new tire. Car's a little lighter this year. The dynamic of the race is probably a little bit different with the new tire that Firestone's brought for us to use. So we'll just have to see what happens.
Last thing here, and we'll let you go. Conor Daly is our guest. When they do the driver introductions and they say from Noblesville, Conor Daly, do you hear the crowd reaction? Because you get one of, if not the biggest reaction, being one of us. You're a Hoosier. Do you hear that?
I think it just depends on where you start in the row, because sometimes if it's like the first name in the row, it's good. But sometimes if you're in the middle, you kind of get squashed. So it also depends on who you're starting next to. So yeah, I appreciate it though every time. Like, it's cool to hear. It's one of my most favorite moments in my life is standing up on that stage for driver intros. It's probably one of the coolest experiences ever.
Well, man, you've always been cool to our show.
Absolutely.
You used to come by our podcast when we were just two, numbnuts hanging out at a bar, and you'd come by and give us your time, and we're rooting for you, Conor. I know if you win this thing, it's going to be a party unlike anything this city has ever seen. So best of luck on Sunday, man.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, guys.
It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.